Well, hello, students. My name is Mr. Beyruti, back for another session, this time for the writing and language test. This is going to be a section on, as it says, writing and language, but examining language, but also involving a little bit of reading comprehension to a degree. And some of our tactics that we have examined from the previous sections are also in play here, primarily the blurb. It's back. This first section, what you want to do is make sure that you read this. All right, there's nothing that you are going to be asked to change or necessarily comprehend as you would with the reading evidence-based reading passages, but you do want to familiarize yourself with this passage in the first paragraph or two. As you can see, it's got a clever title, Way to Go. You know it's going to involve whey, which is a protein from dairy, and primarily Greek yogurt. It's going to have to do with Greek yogurt and the benefits of Greek yogurt. So you do want to read that blurb first, and just to familiarize yourself with some of the questions that you're going to be asked about. A number of them, including 1, 2, 3, and 4, involve the no change option. So whatever is underlined is what you should give your attention to. And if the you feel the choice, feel the underlined portion of the sentence should remain as it is, if that's the best way to express what is in the underlined portion of the sentence, well, then you should leave it as A. But by and large, these sections, these writing sections, are a benefit to our Kellenberg students because we read a great deal. We write a great deal. We know what good writing is. We try to emulate it. So the thing I want to tell you is I want you to trust yourselves. I want you to trust yourselves with what you believe to be the best way to express something, and listen to that voice, in your head about how a certain group of words should be worded, and to trust yourselves. As I said, I think this is an advantage for our students. Okay. And question number 5 has to go into paragraph organization. So there's going to be a little bit of that, and as well as just some other aspects with the underlined portions, which are the best ways to express them. There's also another passage here, and that has to do with reading a graph. So you do want to pay attention to what the graph shows you. So it does combine some of those tactics that you learned about in previous evidence-based reading passages, but this is a writing and language, so it has to do with the writing and the language and factual information therein, and just about how the passage is constructed. So I think what the most important thing is to do, besides trusting yourself and trusting your knowledge of language and writing, is to just focus on what is the underlying part of the sentence and try each answer. All right, trust yourself, trust that answer in your head about how you would best express these words, and we will meet again after the weekend to discuss the answers. So good luck. All right, so we are back. I hope you had a good weekend. And it is time for us to go over the answer choices. And after reading about the blurb, as it were, for the passage on Greek yogurt, we come to the first question, and it has to do with the word outdo. And you may say, all right, outdo, right, it's probably not the most formal word. If someone's going to be outdone, or one uh, one thing is going to outdo another, you might look at the choices and say, you know what, that's probably not the best way to go about this. So you might want to cross off answer choice A. Now we're talking about the advantages of Greek yogurt. Okay, the advantages of Greek yogurt would outweigh others, and that's why choice D is the best answer. So it reflects that relationship the sentence initiates with advantages and drawbacks. So one, the advantage is going to outweigh the drawback, and certainly some of those are introduced there. Now for number two, this has to do with what is central to farmers, and this is kind of a tougher question, I would say. And the reason why choice B is the correct answer, is the best answer, I should say, is that it keeps it central to farmers, okay? Because the idea here is that although there are great benefits to producing this Greek yogurt, it has this high level of acidity, and what farmers can do with that disposal. Farmers have found a number of uses for acid whey. So that's why choice B is correct. Choices A, C, and D, I don't know how great of an answer A is, but C and D, they look, they look attractive. It's a food additive to for humans, and also that it is an important element for their diet. But it keeps it central to farmers, and I think that the relevance of it is the best answer. Now, question number three. Question number three, the correct answer is going to be A. All right, stay as it is can pollute waterways. If you look at some of these ways, all right, I think no pun intended, that they're possessive, okay, and that is obviously not the what wants to what the passage how the passage should be expressed, and certainly the difference between, and you want to look at choice C, okay, it changes the tense of the answer. So A is the correct answer there. Number four, C is the correct answer. And here's the reason why. List items in a series here. Okay? So when listing items in a series, we want them to be consistent in their form. Okay? So in this case, it should be yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials. So choice C best expresses the information that way. Right? The semicolon would not be something that you'd have there, because remember, you may know what a semicolon does. Two of the main functions is to take the place of a coordinating conjunction, one of those fanboys conjunctions, for and, yet, but, so, nor, and, right, and the like, and also before a conjunctive adverb such as therefore and however, and we'll actually talk about those later on. So choice C is the best answer there. Now choice 5 has to do with the organization of the passage, and question 5 has to do with the logical placement of sentence 5. Okay, and this involves a little bit of thought here. Okay, sentence 5 logically links to sentence 2, and that explains why Greek yogurt production has this yield of large amounts of acid whey. All right, and sentence 3 mentions the need to dispose of acid whey properly. Choices A, B, and D are incorrect. They have this illogical expression. Now, if sentence 5 were left where it is, placed after sentence 3, would appear illogically. The discussion, problem of disposal, and if sentence 5 were placed after sentence 1, it would illogically discuss acid whey runoff for acid whey being difficult to be disposed of. So when you get a question like this, okay, you want to focus on that word logical. Where would be the best place for that to be? Question 6. Question 6 The reason why the answer is D, okay, because it asks you if the writer considered deleting the underlined sentence. Should the writer do this? And the answer is no. And no, because if you look back at the sentence before, yogurt manufacturers, food scientists, and government officials are also working together to develop additional solutions for reusing whey. And this provides this sort of transitional sentence, okay? The transitional sentence of the advantages of Greek yogurt outweighing the potential drawbacks of production. Though these conversion methods can be costly and time consuming, they're well worth the effort, right? And then it gives you some of the benefits, which are of consuming Greek yogurt, which are nutrition, satisfying hunger, supporting the sentence claim that the conservation efforts they're well worth the effort. So the advantages outweigh the drawbacks. Question number 7. Question number 7. The answer is B. And here's why. You may look at this and say, hey, it's fine the way it is, okay? And you may kind of, look past it. But what it does here is it connects this verb serves, digestive aid. But serves to be is not correct, okay? It serves as a digestive aid, all right? And it doesn't serve like, doesn't serve for, okay? Like is a comparison. For makes a relationship within a preposition. So it serves as a digestive aid, okay? And that's something that sometimes, a lot of times when we speak, it is something that the person listening would understand it, what we mean, but in writing, it's wrong. So, and this is a way to examine our writing just to be more conscious of it. And question number 8. Question number 8 is, the answer is C. The correct answer is C. And the reason why question number 8, the answer is C, is the verb tense. You want to keep that consistent. It also doesn't include the redundant word it in that sentence. So if we just have contains, all right, continue to be serves as a digestive aid and contains few calories in its unsweetened, low, and non-fat forms. So somewhat of a item in a series, but it continues that verb tense and eliminates the word it, which is redundant or not needed. Question number 9. The answer is going to be A, actually. It properly introduces the additional health benefit and the series of sentences that list the health benefits. Also is logical to communicate an addition. So you may look at that and say, well, maybe I want to change that. And don't change things for stylistic purposes. Oh, I would have done it this way, but the way it is correct. All right. And don't try not to get your own personal preferences involved here with examining, say someone else's writing. Okay, so that's why 9 is A. So it's also. And question number 10. Question number 10 is an interesting one. Question number 10, the answer is going to be A. Okay. And here is why. All right. Satiated. You may not, if you don't know what satiated means, you may look at it, and this is a good technique, I think, for vocabulary. What word does satiated look like? And you might say, well, it looks a little bit like satisfied. And that's what we're looking for. That Greek yogurt gives people a feeling of satisfaction, that they're not hungry anymore. Fulfilled, I think that's playing on the word, on the idea that your belly is full, you're fulfilled. But fulfilled, doesn't necessarily mean what it means to be satiated or no longer hungry. You be fulfilled, spiritually, right? Not in terms of physically. Complacent Complacent, means that you're comfortable. All right. And you might be comfortable if you're satiated, but again, satiated is the best word. And sufficient means good enough. Right. But it doesn't mean, hey, do you want something to eat? No, I'm good. I'm good enough. That's not what that means. So you can see how satiated is the best answer. And try to look into the meanings of the words and what the words give you. And number 11 is the next one, right? The next is B, okay? And looking at B, all right, and the reason why A is incorrect, all right? So A is incorrect because in order for A to be correct, it would need a semicolon before therefore, and even still, therefore with the word because, okay? When you use the word because, you don't give the answer again, all right? Because this is happening, okay? So in essence, you're saying because this is happening, therefore this is happening as well. No, okay, that's too much. It's redundant, and choice C is incorrect because so is really a synonym variant for therefore. Okay? B we know is the correct answer, and D is not correct because in the inclusion of a colon would indicate that a list is coming, and a list is not coming. We're on to the next passage, and we again want to read the blurb. Right? We want to know about this. Has to do with Greenland's interior ice layer and how it thaws. So question number 12 has to do with that, and it asks about a drop in what? In temperature. Okay, so it involves our examining the graph below, and we're looking for a drop, and drop to as low as 20 degrees. Now, if I look at this and I see it drop to low as 20 degrees, that's not even the lowest temperature. All right, I can see that 12 is the lowest temperature, and the dotted line has to do with the high. The solid line has to do with the low. So right there, I think I'm looking for choice B, number 12, is the correct answer. Okay, so examining a little bit of what you can see on the chart. Question number 13. 13, the answer is going to be A. It's going to be A because you may look at some of the other choices. And if you look at the way the paragraph begins, typically the ice sheet begins to show evidence of thawing in late summer. And when you have that choice of A, sometimes the shortest answer is the best answer. And that's why it would be the best answer. It concisely combines the two sentences. And B, C, and D are incorrect. They're wordy, and they do not combine the sentences in the most concise way. Sometimes the shorter answer is the best answer. All right, and especially if there's no real difference between some of the previous sentences, even if they are grammatically correct, choice A being the most concise would be the 14. Number 14. That answer to number 14 is going to be B. And the reason why it is B is that it signals this sort of exception and is similar to the word but. All right. And that's what's happening here. All right. This exception to the preceding sentence. All right. The sentence before it. And it gives you that relationship between those ideas of ones that come before. And 15, all right, 15 is something that I think that many of you might recognize as what's here, this person, Jason Box. He is an associate professor of geology at Ohio State, of all places. And if we see the comma after the name Jason Box, and we see an associate professor, all right, what we're looking for is that comma after Ohio State. And we're looking at that, right? B and C have that comma after Ohio State, and we want for choice C to be the answer because it has the comma before and the comma after, and what this is of course, and a positive sentence. Okay? D has an unnecessary comma, and we want the positive phrase to be enclosed. Finally, question number 16. Question number 16, we talked earlier about the colon, all right, the colon being indicating the list is coming, list is to follow, and that's what we want here. This sort of gives it almost like a subtitle, okay, that Jason Box believes that another factor to added to the early thaw, dun, 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 the dark snow problem, okay? It's almost like a subtitle for a movie, all right? What I thought of first was one of my favorite movies, Star Wars, colon, A New Hope, okay? So it's almost giving you that distinction of a subtitle, this early thaw, the dark snow problem. And that's the answer. Those are the answers for the first 16 questions of the writing section. Hope you did well. I hope your scores are improving. And the more you see of these, I think the more you'll get to recognize the questions. So keep up the good work and have a great rest of the day.